Here's how to sing and play the guitar at the same time. The guitar is just one of those instruments that's made for singing. It's only your hands that are busy, so your mouth is open for business. I should learn how to rephrase that. So today we're gonna learn a few methods for singing and playing the guitar, because there's really three separate skills that you need to be good at. You're singing, you're playing the guitar, and then singing and playing the guitar in and of itself is its own challenge. As a musician that has toured nationally in the US and has a few records out, I've done a lot of singing and playing live on stage, and I'm almost always playing the guitar or the piano. So here's some of the methods that I use when I sing and play the guitar. The first thing you have to realize is that one of the things that you're doing, either the guitar or the singing, is going to have to be on autopilot, because you can't be thinking about both at the same time without getting tripped up. There's this feeling of relaxation and sync between singing and playing when you start to let go and forget about one or the other, because you're allowing your muscle memory to take over strumming the guitar while you can spend all your time focusing on your singing. So of course the question is, how do I get my muscle memory there, or how do I make the song easy enough for me to use muscle memory to achieve that concept? Well, step number one is to try to slow everything down to an incredibly slow tempo. The slower something is, the easier the action is for you to perform, and if you can't play it slow, then you definitely won't be able to play it fast. I recently released a song called Words for You, so to avoid copyright, I'm gonna use that song in this video and show you guys how I play and sing that song by slowing down the tempo. The song only uses a few chords, and it's really easy for me to slow it down, so let me show you what that would look like. And it's true, I wouldn't be here without you. After all that we've been through, I'll leave these words for you. If I'm struggling with that, I can lower down the tempo even further. And it's true, I wouldn't be here without you. And as I'm slowing down the tempo, a few details start to come out, which leads me to the second technique that you should use to help yourself sing and play at the same time. What you need to understand, especially with rhythms that are more syncopated, meaning the rhythm of your vocals is different than the rhythm of your guitar, is that there is a reason for it, and very often important words or phrases will line up with guitar strums, and you need to keep an eye out for this. For example, every time I play through that song, I notice that the words true, be, and you all line up with my chord strums, and I use those as anchors for the rest of my singing. Those anchors help me know whether or not my singing is too late or too early, and they help me sync things up to the exact moment that I need to play them. And it's true, I wouldn't be here without you. A lot of times these are the phrases that are going to rhyme within the song, or phrases that are on the very first beat of each rhythm. You need to look for the importance of these words, watch out for the words that fall on some of your important strums, like the first strum of every strum pattern, and use those to line everything up. But that might not be that easy. You'll notice that sometimes the strum rhythms change in between different verses and lines. Or maybe you're playing something that's fingerstyle, like earlier in the song when I play something like this. A warm embrace under blue sky, our atoms chased the weary tides beneath cascading beams of light that shoot to space, carry shadow time. When slowing down the tempo doesn't work, and working on finding the chords that match the words doesn't help either, what you need to be able to do is to simplify your song down into the most basic elements. Simplifying a song down is actually a skill. It's something that you maybe wouldn't be able to do intuitively. You need to know what things you can take out that aren't important. But the first and easiest thing to simplify often is the strum, because the strumming pattern isn't as important as getting the actual beats and pace of the song is. For example, I'm playing all this fancy fingerstyle stuff here, and that's all really just dressing into the song that maybe one day I'd like to be able to bring back. But if I could boil down this entire verse of the song, it's really just three chords. It's the G and the A minor chord going back and forth over and over again until it hits this F chord. The strum itself, while it goes something like, can really just be boiled down into the basic pace or beat of the song. The beat is something that you would tap your foot to, so whatever you would sort of tap your foot to the song with, you can actually just strum for the chords, which can turn a very complicated rhythm into just a 4-beat down strum pattern. When I do that with this song and then apply my words, it's a lot easier to sing and play because I simplified and removed all the elements, and now I'm able to use that muscle memory because now I'm just strumming down with my thumb. And remember, you can use this in conjunction with the two other skills, being able to line up your words with each of the new beats of your strum, and now also being able to slow down the tempo even easier with having this really easy strum and turn it into something like this. Trading age for aching cries, that howling gaze for truth we find. Behind the days we stumble blind, with just that warmth to lead us by. You'll notice I was able to take out all of the fancy riffs like the da 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 da. And at some points I even sort of messed up. I wasn't able to keep my beat continuing when I hit this F chord, but that was okay because I was focused more on the singing and I kept things going. Which leads me to my next point, which is that momentum is everything. When it comes to singing and playing the guitar, momentum is everything. When you break your momentum, you start to overthink things and you suddenly have a lot of points that your brain starts to analyze. Is my strum in the right place? Is my vocals in the right place? Is my pitch in the right place? You start thinking about too much and then everything falls apart. Momentum and this feeling of a state of mind where you're relaxed that comes about with that muscle memory is key to maintaining your singing presence. I've played some really complicated riffs on the electric guitar when I was in an old rock band that was really difficult to sing and play at the same time, and the only way I was able to push through it was through momentum. It's not that I wouldn't make mistakes, it's not that some notes wouldn't come out on the right beat at the right time, but I never actually stopped playing the song. And you learn that as an artist that plays shows on the road, you actually can't stop the song. There's nothing you can do. If you mess up, you just have to keep moving forward. And this momentum, even at a slower tempo, even in your own room, is what you need to develop. The practice of not giving up even when something feels wrong or when something is out of place. And you need to also find that groove where you can get back into the song at the right moment and fix those mistakes. To show that example one more time, what happened was me playing this song here, I was using this chord, I knew I was going to F, but then my strum got messed up. I just waited with my strum until I knew I was ready to go back into the next strum, which looked a little something like this. That howling gaze for truth we find, behind the days we stumble blind. And on that word blind, I was able to catch up with where my strums were supposed to be, lining up my strum with the beat, using all of these techniques, and I got myself back on track. And to everybody else that was watching, nobody even noticed that it would be a quote-unquote mistake. If this is all still not working for you, don't worry. I have a way for you to make this even easier and to locate these feelings that you need to have. You see, at this point, it's probably the idea that your vocals are just a little too complicated for you to get the hang of them while playing the guitar. You don't have the experience, you can't find the momentum, you're not able to slow down the rhythm or the tempo, you're just still not able to make it work, and it's okay. It's a skill that you can develop, I promise you. But what you need to be able to do now is to take focus away from the guitar, which we've simplified down about as much as we can, and to now move your attention to the vocals and simplify those down. And the way to simplify vocals down from whatever song you're going to be singing is to take your words and to replace them with oohs or ahs or hms or any other thing that's just the note coming out of your mouth and not the actual words, lyrics, or even really rhythm. This type of playing is as bare bones as it gets. By removing the words, you take one more point of stress off of your brain and you start to just try to find that state that you need to be in to make those two halves merge. You need to be able to feel the music as one piece instead of thinking of it as two different things. And if you're still thinking so hard about the lyrics and the guitar, and simplifying the guitar isn't helping, we're going to bring everything down to its base emotion and feeling. You're going to take just the sounds of your voice and the sounds of your guitar in its simplest state and try to see if you can see them as one cohesive whole. There's a moment in my song where I do use hms to play the song, and that would be a good demonstration of what you should do. So instead of singing my traditional melody, I just use hms, and by taking that focus away from the lyrics, I'm able to pay attention to the guitar a lot more, which means I can handle some of these more difficult rhythms. You can also say ah, or you can say la 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 la. It doesn't matter. Anything that you can do to take the focus away from your vocals and then to start to try to feel things as one unit. Notice the differences, try to use an engaging brain while you're playing all these things, and then simplify it, slow it down until you finally get it. Once you feel like you've gotten it, you need to start slowly adding these elements back in. You can take those hms and turn them back into words. You can take those simple beats and turn it back into a strum. And you can start to add little riffs in as the cherry on top when you finally have everything comfortable. Now, it's going to take some time to do this, and the more complicated a song is, the harder it's going to be. But you need to realize that this gets a lot easier as you go down into the future, because once you have that experience, you suddenly start to understand what you need to create everything and create one cohesive feeling between the guitar and the vocals, and having that muscle memory to help propel you forward. For me, it's very easy to pick up a song and play it now without having any worry about the syncopation between the guitar and the vocals. And for the most part, unless it's incredibly difficult, I don't even have to think about it. This is just a result of experience with playing and singing songs. So the more you play and sing songs, the better and the easier it's going to get. Of course, that's the way things work, and you know that you need to work those things out on your own. One final point about momentum. Really, the hardest thing about playing the guitar and syncing it up with your singing or anything else is the rhythm. Rhythm is so difficult for people to just intuitively get, and the whole thing that keeps the rhythm machine going on the guitar is momentum. When you're strumming on the guitar, your hand is moving in a constant motion, even when you're not hitting the strings. Don't believe me? Take a look down here. When I play this simple pattern of down, down, up, down, up, what you'll notice is that there are some double ups in a row, there's 2 downs in a row, but even though I'm doing 2 downs or 2 ups in a row, it's not stopping my hand from moving to the other side of the guitar. That's because my hand is acting like a clock. My hand is accenting the beats of the song in 8th note pattern. The downs and the ups together create that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and sound, and then when I need to create a syncopation, that's a deviation in the rhythm that is offset from another rhythm in the song, I'm able to do that by just avoiding the strings, but still making the motion with my hand, and therefore not disrupting my momentum. Watch this one more time closely as I do down, down, up, down, up. The truth of the guitar is that you're supposed to keep your hand moving at all times on the rhythm end. Even when it gets down to faster notes like 16th notes or more complicated rhythms, my hand is always going to make this motion as down and up. And this also leads you to this amazing idea that if your hand is moving like a clock, if it's keeping the tempo and the pace of your song, there really are no bad beats or rhythms that you can hit. In fact, if you accidentally put a strum in the wrong spot, it feels like it belongs. Let me do that same rhythm again, but let me accidentally make a mistake and fill in one of the holes that I'm supposed to avoid. For some people, it's even hard to tell whether or not I actually filled in a gap there. It's so innocuous, it's so seemingly simple, it blends in so well because my hand is keeping time with the song, and therefore no matter what strings I hit, my hand will always be keeping the beat, which can lead you to more advanced rhythmic ideas, like the idea of starting with all of your beats and then simply removing beats from there, rather than the other way around, starting with 0 and then trying to add beats as you start your rhythms. A lot of people think of rhythms as starting from nothing, and then I'm gonna do a down, and then an up, and then maybe 2 ups in a row. But if you maybe start thinking about it like I'm doing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up the entire time, except one time I'm gonna remove one of my ups, like maybe at the end, and then the other time I'm gonna remove it down, it might look something like this. And again, accidentally or even intentionally starting to remove other beats won't make a difference. Of course, it'll create a more syncopated and more interesting sounding rhythm, but it's not like you're going to have a problem keeping the tempo or the pace of the song. It will just continue going at the same pace that your hand has always been moving. And this safety, this freedom that comes about when you understand that as long as your hand keeps moving up and down, you really have nothing to fear, is important and integral to the idea of singing and playing the guitar at the same time, because it allows you to reach that state of relaxation and muscle memory because there's nothing to worry about. You just keep your hand moving and it's impossible for you to get it wrong. When you understand that, you can start to just focus on the singing and making sure that your words are lining up with where you are on the chords. At the end of the day, ultimately, the rhythm should be the last thing that you think about. If you have to think about things in order, the rhythm should be the thing that you wipe out immediately. Changing the chord should be the thing that should be muscle memory, but if it's not, that's the next step up of order of operations things to think about. Then when it comes to the vocals, you need to be able to just focus on the pitch. If you have the lyrics memorized, the more you sing the song, the better. So I say the lyrics next, and then the pitch is eventually something you'll probably want to avoid having to think too much about as you get into this feeling of creating a cohesive muscle memory based activity. And if you get good enough at this entire process using all of the tips in this video, you will eventually reach a state where you're not even really thinking about any part of it. You're not thinking about rhythm or strumming or chords or lyrics or pitch even. You have that song so completely in your heart and soul that you're able to just present, be in the moment, and feel, and then it becomes more about emotion and situational environmental awareness, making sure that your song feels right in the moment and not thinking about all the details, but instead giving a show. With this song Words for You that I have that just recently came out, and you should take a listen to if you haven't already on my Spotify profile, it's very easy for me to sing, play, and perform this song and to stop focusing at all on any of those little details and instead just focus on giving a show and making sure that it sounds right. I start to think about my vocal texture. I start to think about the ideas that were behind the song, the images and the memories, and I try to put my brain back in that state as I play so that when I play, it sounds like it did back then. It sounds like it represents what it's supposed to represent. And you start reaching these ideas as an artist or a musician, and that's where your music and your creativity and your performance really starts to shine. Which maybe you'll be able to see if you watch me play this section of my song where I'm not thinking about the lyrics or anything like that, but really just trying to give you a good sense of the way that the song is supposed to feel. What am I supposed to do? Nothing else, I'll find myself. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'll take these steps to beginning's end. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Traveled on, went far and wide, but couldn't embrace ourselves in time. I marched right off to that crooked line, stand against the gale that closed your eyes. And it's true, I wouldn't be here without you. And after all that we've been through, I'll leave these words for you. Yeah, after all that we've been through, leave these words for you. I'll leave these words for you. I'll leave these words for you. I'll leave these words for you. Let me know what you think of this lesson. If there's any other questions that you have in the comment sections below. And if you enjoyed my song Words for You, it would really mean a lot to me if you saved it and followed my Spotify profile, which you can find the link to in my bio or just by searching up Will Ash on Spotify and checking out the releases that I have out now. You can also support me for free on Patreon and all sorts of other things with all of the links in my bio. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.